Hi, this is David Orlofsky with the Parsha in 5 on Parshas Vayechi. This is it. The last Parsha of Sefer Bereshis. Chazak, chazak, v'niz chazek. There's an amazing scene, of course, where Yaakov's eyesight is going. And so Yosef brings his two sons to Yaakov, who at this point is 147 years old. And his eyesight's starting to go. And he's sick. He has to pull himself up on the bed. And Yosef brings his two sons for him to give a bracha to, Ephraim and Menashe. And Menashe is the older one, so he wants to make it easy for Yaakov. So he puts Menashe across from his right hand and Ephraim to his left hand, so that he knows he'll put the right hand, which is more important, on the firstborn. And Yaakov switches his hands and puts the right hand on the younger brother and the left hand on the older one. Literally switches hands. And Yosef is shocked. Oh no. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when two brothers are confused over who gets the power of the Bechor, of the firstborn. Don't do this to my kids. And he tries to move Yaakov's hand. And Yaakov doesn't say anything. He lets him try. But he can't budge it. He's trying. He's trying to take his hand. He's an old man. He's not well. And he can't budge it. And Yaakov says, Yodati b'ni yodati. I know, my son, I know. You think I don't know what I'm doing. But the fact of the matter is, I know better than you do what I'm doing. Go ahead, try to move this hand. With this hand, I fought a malach. Say the Chazal, 3 malachim are as strong as the entire universe. I have the strength of a third of the universe. You're not moving this hand. But I want you to see first. I don't want you just to believe that I know what I'm doing. I want you to see that I know what I'm doing. Yodati b'ni yodati. We always think we know better. Mark Twain said, when I was 17 years old, I thought my father knew nothing. And when I became 21, I was surprised how much the old man learned in 4 years. Yodati b'ni yodati. I know somebody used to go to shiurim of Rabbi Shapiro, not his hashkafa shiurim. He used to give shiurim in Tyrus. Rabbi Moshe quoted a Gemara, and this fellow was big Talmid Chacham, he's a Shasnik, and he says to him, no, you quoted the Gemara wrong. And he says, oh. Anyway, 6 months later, as he was going through Shas, he came to that Gemara, and he saw that Rabbi Moshe quoted the Girsa of the Rashba. And he went back to Rabbi Moshe and he says, oh, you know, what you quoted is the Girsa of the Rashba. And Rabbi Moshe goes, oh. Yodati b'ni yodati. You know? I've also thought about this a little bit. I've also looked at this. I went to ask a question to Rabbi Yosef. It was similar to a question I had asked him years before. I'll never forget. It was a question of whether or not I should go back to America, and he told me to go. And this time it was a question to go, and he told me not to go. And I said, last time the Rav told me to go. I'll never forget this. And Rabbi Yosef said, and you were matzliach, right? And I was like, yeah. And he said, just like I told you then to go, I'm telling you now not to go. Yodati b'ni yodati. I know what I'm doing. Famous story of Shimon Schwab went to see the Chavetz Chaim, who was already very old, when he was being offered the Stelle in Germany. And he went to see the Chavetz Chaim. So the Chavetz Chaim looks at him and says, are you a Levi? He says, no. He says, how come? My father wasn't a Levi. Oh. How come your father wasn't a Levi? Because his father wasn't a Levi. Ah. How come his father wasn't a Levi? So he thought to himself, well, the Chavetz Chaim's old, he's starting to lose it, you know. He says, because his father wasn't a Levi. He says, you know why I'm a Kohen and other people are Leviim and you're not? Because when Moshe Rabbeinu said, Mila Hashem Elai, whoever is for God, come to me, my great-grandfather came and yours didn't. Now you're going to Germany, you're going to hear the cry again, Mila Hashem Elai. Don't miss it again. He thought he didn't really get it. He knew perfectly well what was going on. So you got to have a little trust in our Torah leaders that they know what they're talking about. Yudati b'ni b'yudati. I know what I'm doing. I've thought about this too. And Amir Hashem, in that schus, will be zoicha to have the emes geula chazak v'niz chazek. Shabbos.